So you have the procedure, the double mastectomy, and at what point did something start to seem off on that journey?
That's a funny question. I laugh because something seeming off. I mean, my entire life was off. I was suicidal and disassociated. So I didn't have a concept of right or wrong or good or evil. I didn't know anything. I was just trying to get through the day. I experienced a placebo effect from the surgery because I was like, oh, well, I've reached this goal, right? You know, when you're in pursuit of a goal, you're getting dopamine. And then I'm like, oh, well, I've reached this goal. I've done this massive change in my life. I should be transformed now. I'm a very transcendent, self-actualizing, seeking person. So I thought that I was going to self-actualize through this. So I was like, oh, well, I'm getting closer to loving myself and doing all this. So there was a placebo effect. The reality was that it changed nothing, of course, in reality about how I felt about myself, about the core issues, my behaviors. Things only continued to spiral and get worse and worse because the surgeon had told me to quit testosterone for the procedure, which I wasn't expecting. And I still don't even know if that's standard practice or not. But I quit testosterone cold turkey and I had a mental breakdown and I ended up doing some abusive behaviors to my friends, and I ended up being disowned by my entire group of friends. So right after I had the surgery, I lost everyone in my life. I had no one, and I was traumatized by that and had a ton of shame because it was my fault. And so at that point, I was so suicidal over other things. I couldn't even think about the surgery or being trans. And I was so traumatized by the mental breakdown and what I did that I was scared to go back on testosterone, even though I really wanted to, because this is the reality. I only was on testosterone for 7 months before I had my breast cut off, which is not a very long amount of time. And so the effects from it were not what I wanted, right? I wanted to have a beard. I wanted to have a lower voice, whatever. But I was too scared to go back on. And I was like, all right, let me just try to survive this immense loss of my entire tribe and let me see then about finishing my transition. So for the next 2 years, I existed in this state of limbo where I was even more disassociating and I was using much harder drugs. I was only associating with very, very broken middle-aged drug addicts and people like that because I had such a sense of shame and I couldn't even focus on anything. I mean, I was just surviving and I was like, well, I want to continue transitioning medically. But for a couple years, I just lived as a gay trans man with no breasts and then some facial hair. Ultimately, I wasn't really passing as a guy that much. It was just a weird liminal state.